Charles Cooley is another a sociologist who was one of the uh, contributors to the development of sociology in America. He considered society as an organic whole. And when we consider society as an organic whole, then we can also think of different parts of that organism. If society is a total organism, then it has different parts. Parts might be considered as groups, but these groups are not isolated bits and pieces. So they are part of the whole, and there is some kind of reciprocity amongst these parts or amongst these groups. So we see that reciprocal influences and relations between the parts. So there is a mutual, let's say, relationship between the parts. One, they support each other. Maybe there's differentiation as well as some kind of unity as an organ. So the whole society, or the whole society as a whole, is made up of a network of reciprocal activity. We might look at the micro level as well as at the macro level. At the group level, then within the group we see that the members of the group interact, and then groups also interact with each other. So when we say interact, then there is a reciprocity. So one's action influences the other person, and other person then gives a response, and that this is how the interaction starts. So we see that there are different forms of groups which are part of the total system of society. So the groups could be small groups composed of only 2 persons. Those could also be composed of 10 persons, and number could be any. So we see that society as a adaptive kind of organism. So just like the organism grows and becomes bigger, similarly the society also grows. It grows with the circumstances, it grows with the environment. So it has an adaptive kind of approach with the environment. So interaction is a very important, I think, concept which is a part of Cooley's, let's say, contribution. So that interaction is more like a cementing link between groups. As I said, it could be at the micro level, at the macro level as well. Interaction not only within the group becomes a cementing force, that interaction also between the different groups becomes a cementing force, and particularly if there is a reciprocity in this interaction. So through this interaction, these groups share, let's say, common ideas and connections. Ideas about the society, an idea about economy, idea about achievement of certain goals, then ideas about the means, how to achieve those goals. And for purposes of interaction, we need, and the people need, some kind of means of communication. So they need a language. So language could be a spoken language. That language can be, let's say, a symbolic kind of language, unspoken. So as part of the language, people can use, let's say, a verbal kind of approach. They could use the symbolic kind of approach. So they can use the gestures. They can use other facial expressions for purposes of communicating their, let's say, feelings, their ideas, their reactions to the actions of other people with whom they are interacting. And that is how he called that kind of approach as symbolic interaction. So for purposes of interaction, the human beings have to develop a language. And language is composed of, let's say, signs, symbols, letters, words, and could be any other combination of these things. So out of reading and understanding each other's gestures, they try to communicate and read each other's mind. And as an outcome of that, they interpret the feelings of others, the thinking of others, and they try to determine their approach, their dispositions, their inclinations to move in one way or the other. Therefore, he considered society as an interweaving and interworking of mental selves. These are the individuals who interact with each other, and for this interaction they need communication, and for this communication they need language, and all this actually helps in establishing the social relations, and that is how the society functions as a system over here.